How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which ended up posting up a green day, being up 2.83% on the day. If you remember what I said in my previous video, I was looking for us to form another higher low. And we did exactly that. So let's talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $19.60, being up 2.83%. On the low, it tested $18.81, and then on the high, testing $19.68. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 15.956 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 23.07 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 42.67. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that Lucid is in a bear market, knowing that it's trading below all of our major moving averages. So like what I was talking about yesterday, we wanted to see a higher low from Lucid, and that's exactly what we got. We ended up testing $18.81, and we saw a high of $19.68. So what you guys know what I'm about to say. We need to make that move to $20, especially since earnings is right around the corner. So knowing that we got to 1968 and we close at 1960, I would love to see a move towards a 21-day EMA at $20.56. I know what you're saying. Don't we have the Fed meeting? Well, you know what? I think things should be priced in, and if they stay according to the plan in regards to 50 basis points and nothing being higher than that, Lucid should be able to run and then make that move to $20. The last time we got to $20, we got to $20.01 until we saw some resistance. So breaking through this level, I can see Lucid being able to get to the mid $20 range. So that's why I say keep a very close eye on that area. And of course, on top of that, I would love for us to form another higher low. What could that possibly look like? Since we tested at 1881, I would really want to see if support could hold up around 1890 or even at $19 wouldn't be too bad because it would set it up fairly well. Now, if we decide to have some consolidation or we have a pullback, I want to see $18 continue to hold. Or if we get some bad news in regards to that rate hike, then we could see the stock pulling back further, and that's where we want to see support holding up right here at least above $17.50. But again, we've been testing lows around the 1760s. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for May the 3rd, we have Ellis Investment Partners LLC that purchased 250 shares, and then we have North Star Investment Management Corp that purchased 1,437 shares, and we also have Verdant Fund Management LLC that closed out their calls and as well as their puts. We also have Cooks and Pierce and Co that closed their position as well. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 55.86%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 3.66 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 300,000, updated just now, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 8.20%. 0.9%. Taking a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close of the 29th, it was at 56.38. And then for the close of the second, being at 55.86. So what this shows us right away, Lucid does have short squeeze potential, with the short interest percentage of the float being at 19.03%. The criteria that we normally look for is 14% or higher, and it fulfills that criteria. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow, it is at 43.05 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 53.68 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 26.80 million, and then on the small, it was 16.25 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 33.64, and then on the small, it was 20.04. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, May the 3rd, we had 0. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, you could see that we had more selling than we had buying. And then taking a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And of course, for the large, represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had 0 on both sides. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 0.96%. So you know what? This is low. We are used to seeing it at 1% or higher. So this is a good sign, and it shows us, and it also was really clear when we took a look at the order flow, we did not see any large scale orders coming from whales and institutions. So that's why, as far as going into tomorrow, it can get interesting. I'll talk about it further in the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, when it comes to the price action, like I said in the previous video, we were looking for a higher low. We got exactly that. We ended up testing $18.81. But where do I want to see a move? I want to see a move above $20.01. And I know you're saying, why $20.01 to be exact? Well, you know what? That was a previous high when we got to the $20 range. So that's why I want to see Lucid being able to have some sort of a run up prior to earnings that's going to be coming out on Thursday. And I think this is achievable. But we also can't forget the fact that we have Jerome Powell that's going to be coming out and letting us know what's up with the interest rate hike. Is he going to be sticking with 50 basis points? If he ends up sticking with that, like I've said before many times, I'm looking for the market to have a strong rally. If he ends up going above that 50 basis points, then that's where I'm going to say, you know what, there's going to be a lot of fear in the market, and there's going to be a lot of concerns, and a lot of stocks are going to pull back. But outside of those rate hikes, we also got to see what his tone is going to be, whether he's going to be hawkish and so forth. So I highly suggest, if you have the opportunity, join us inside of the Discord, because we're actually following along with it on a daily basis for the past 2 weeks since we've been seeing the volatility in the markets. And when he made that comment in the prior meeting that he was in, saying that 50 basis points was on the table. Now, if Lucid decides to pull back, you guys already know the areas of support of where it can get down to. And just to clarify that again, we want to see if it could hold up $17.50. Prior days, we've been seeing it testing the low on weekdays at around the $17.60 range. So we know if the market falls off a cliff or there's a lot of fear, Lucid will come back down to this level. And when it breaks through this level, the next area of support is at $16.10. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see institutions have been loading up on shares. And then taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential, knowing that the short interest percentage of the float fits our criteria of 14% or higher. But we saw some low volume on the day, but the only way to actually force a short squeeze in a stock, you need to have that above average volume coming in, and that means buying pressure. And I was saying again in the previous videos, the nearest catalyst that I could see is a surprise for earnings. But again, I would not bet the house on that. That is just my personal opinion. And if you are a long-term investor, make sure you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence, and do not buy this stock if you're not willing to load up if it decides to dip back even further. And for my traders, you already know what to look for as far as for the levels, whether you want to play it to the long side or if you want to play it to the short side. So I hope you found this video helpful, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs for the next trading day. We'll talk soon.